Hi, and welcome to episode 64 of Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Hey, today what I'm going to be talking about a little bit of the clay court season has gotten underway overseas and then also in the USA. One in Houston for the men, and then one in Charleston, South Carolina for the women. And then one in actually it was Portugal, and then Monaco, and then Houston for the men. So that's a little bit of the talk that I'm going to be talking about today. And then later on, like I said last week, I will be playing some over the phone interviews from our tennis colleague that unexpectedly passed away March 16th at the age of 60, that was well into tennis and tennis tournaments, and that he played a lot around with a lot of tennis people in the tennis community here in the cities, and then also in a small town of Elk River, in tournament that he played in a lot. And he was my doubles partner for many years, for about 8 years. And I'll be doing some over the phone interviews in remembrance of our tennis colleague that suddenly passed away, Bruce Swanson. Very good, but you'll kind of get an insight of what people thought of him and how I felt, knowing him the years that I did. But anyway, without that, and then also you'll get the racket of the day that you'll see. And then if you want to subscribe, like, comment on my YouTube channel, let me know what you like me doing. And also with that, just let me know, because I always want to try to improve, and by you letting me know by comments of what you like of what I do. And also then racket of the day, we'll be showing that for you. And then also you podcasters, if you do want to take a look at the racket of the day too, then you can also then take a look at the racket on my tennis YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk. And then you podcasters, if you want to like, subscribe, and comment, I would appreciate that also. So with that in mind, the ATP actually had three events that went on. And the event that went on to get the clay court season started was Herbertt Hurkacz, where he won his first clay court tournament in Estoril, Portugal, over Pedro Martinez, and he won 6-3, 6-4, and he had 15 aces during that clay court, and these were on red clay, and then the others in the U.S. are on green clay. So with that too, he played good, 15 aces, and he's a very good server. When his serve is going, it is good. And then we had the two other ATP tournaments, and then the one WTA. And then in the other two ATP tournaments were Mattio Berrettini won over Roberto Cabaltas, and he won 7-5, 6-2 in Marrakesh, Monaco. And then the other was Ben Shelton, and he beat actually Francis Tiafoe, the defending champion, 7-5, 4-6, 6-3 in the final of Houston. And then the other one is actually then the one that I want to talk about, and the amazing tournament that Danielle Collins played in Charleston, South Carolina, by beating Maria Sakkari, and she made it all the way through the finals. Came right off of a hard court tournament in Miami, and she is one of the hottest players on the ATP tour, or on the WTA tour right now for the women. and she's been beating top 10 players in the top 10. She's been hitting that good, and what a dynamic, fiery player. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Jimmy Connors on the women's side. She just has the fire and compassion, and she shows her emotions, which I've always liked about that. I've been following Danielle for a long time, and even through many years for the last 4, 5, 6 years, and seeing her in tournaments and wanting her to win, and she just wasn't quite getting there, and always wanted her to do good. And all of a sudden, then she kind of announces that she's going to retire, and all of a sudden her game just like exponentially takes off, and she beat Sakkari, I believe it was 6-3, 6-1 in the final, and it was like just over an hour, a little over an hour. And she was just on a tear and just playing unbelievable tennis. So she actually had her boyfriend Brian. I like that name. That's my name. So anyway, her boyfriend was there helping her, or kind of giving her support through the week and everything. She had her dog Quincy that was with friends back in Florida. And so Danielle was doing it solo pretty much first part of the week. She drove to South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina, and then was able to get into the tournament, and then making that step from hard court to clay. And she just kept winning and winning and winning and winning, and made it to the finals and won such a wonderful tournament then too. On that respect too. So yeah, she played really good, and I hope then that'll give her a springboard then to go into the European clay, the red clay, and do really good in that, and start showing some people that she has, even at 30, she still has a game and can play. And she was hitting massive forehands. She was hitting backhands. Her serve was just catching Sakkari way off guard. Sakkari's a really good returner too. So yeah, she was just doing really good. So anyway, with that, then I just hope that you YouTubers, you like and subscribe and make a comment what you like me doing. And then also Racket of the Day coming up. And then you podcasters, if you also like, subscribe, make a comment what you like me doing. And if you like Racket of the Day too, if you want to take a look at it on my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk. But with this in mind, I just got to tell you one thing that, like I said, we lost a very good friend of mine very suddenly, March 16th at the age of 60. I'm probably thinking that could have been a heart attack or a stroke or whatever. I don't know. They haven't said yet, but they're going to have a celebration of his life coming up April 26th. But I just kind of felt that with this, I'm going to be doing I had some over the phone interviews with some friends, tennis colleagues of mine that are remembering Bruce also, and what they thought of Bruce. And so I'm going to be doing these, and then get it as far as I can, and then do the Racket of the Day. But I'll kind of let you know what I was feeling and where I was in my tennis career along with this too. So with this, here are some of the interviews that I did with the thoughts of our tennis colleague Bruce. And thank you for joining me here on episode 64 of Tennis Volley Talk. Today, going to be talking a little bit more about a serious note, but I have a tennis colleague of mine that was on my tennis podcast in-house, Rob Small, and we're going to be talking about one of a great loss of one of our tennis colleagues, Wish it could have been in a little bit better situation here, Rob. But what a kind of a surprise shock that our tennis colleague that we've known for years and played and had fun with and everything passed away suddenly in March.
Yeah, it was actually, you're the one who told me, and I was actually in Arizona at the time, and we were in an aquarium. And I looked down at my phone because it had been a while since I checked my messages, and all of a sudden that came across, and my heart just sank, and I couldn't believe it. It took me probably 3 times to read it over, and I'm like, what, Bruce Swanson?
Yeah.
Not that Bruce Swanson, it's got to be a different one. And then it took me like that 3rd time to really realize what just happened, and I was definitely shocked and sad.
Oh yeah, I mean everybody in the whole our tennis community that knew Bruce and everything is probably totally shocked that it happened the way it did, because he was texting me probably up until about a week and a half or so. The last one I got from him was that he wanted to get out and play, but the weather just didn't permit it, and it was a little cold and dreary out, but some nets were already up, and I would have been willing to do it if it wasn't so cool in the morning time because he had to get to work at a certain time and stuff like that. So, but that's what just really, kind of like up until then, and then, like I started texting him, and then where I heard about it was that Randy from our mixers that we play, Randy Running, which is one of my guests that I've had too, kind of let me know and said, Bruce Swanson passed away, and I just was shocked, and I went to commence checking out and finally got the information. So I was assured, yeah, it is, and it was.
Wow. Yeah, like I said today, I know it's been a couple weeks now since it happened, and since I found out, I'm still in shock. And I just hit with Darren Helly, who I hope you eventually have on your podcast, or at least give a phone call to, because he obviously remembers Bruce well, and we've hit with you guys so many times. We were just discussing it too, and it was just a beautiful day. We hit on Saturday in Plymouth, where you and I had hit before.
Yeah.
Yep, and he couldn't believe it either. We were just talking, and he's 52 or 53 years old now, and I'm just like, think about it, because I know Bruce was only 60, and I know Bruce, reading that quote that his brother sent out on Facebook, Bruce did live life on his terms, and I know he had a hell of a life.
Oh yeah. But
at the same time, I feel it was definitely too short. But at the same time, when God calls you home, he calls you home. And unfortunately, sometimes, we just don't have a say in that. But we, just for remembering Bruce as well, and I hope eventually you can have Darren Helly on your podcast, and he had a lot of great things to say about him as well.
Oh, yeah, well, with that, too, it was such a devastating surprise to all of us, and with me, too, especially being that Bruce was a spur of the moment kind of guy for me, that I would text and say, hey, it's nice out, let's get out and play today. And he would, let's get out at 2:00, or I'd text him and say, hey, it's going to be a nice day tomorrow, let's get out and play, and would set a time and get out in the morning and play. So yeah, that's the one thing I kind of miss when I go to the court now. I could be playing him, but not now.
That's going to be one of my next calls today, so as we say. I'll probably have to get him in-house too sometime, so you might like that.
He has a great story. He's from Illinois, and he's played a long time. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yes. So, basically kind of, any kind of myself, it kind of, in a sense with me, and I kind of knew Bruce from leagues that I was in when he first started kind of coming back to play tennis, and then he got the tennis blood in him again, and that passion, and started playing all the time, and me and him played all the time, spur of the moment, and just get out and play, and then he just got exponentially better as the years went by, and he was hardly could hardly be touched. He was even getting the best of me last couple of years playing with him. But and the funny thing is this year I was looking so forward to going back out and hitting with him, because I kind of did a little bit of more technique or different way of hitting, and I was hitting the ball. I've been practicing and hitting the ball really good, and I was wanting to show him that he's going to be surprised, and guess what? I can't.
I know, right? And that's how life works sometimes. And, just when, and we had a perfect, basically, winter or lack thereof. Like, for the first time ever, we could actually get out early and hit. And, like you said, you had really been working on your shots, and you were going to maybe take him out and, maybe beat him, for the first time probably in a little while. Because I know Bruce, when he got going, he was tough to beat.
Oh, he was definitely.
Yes, and it's just, unfortunately for all of us, that's how life works, and we don't always call the shots.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
When Derek... Hello?
Yep.
Are you busy?
No, hold on. Yep.
Sorry about that. There's some glitch in the phone. Some call came in, and sorry, it'll get back to the interview with Rob. Don't know what happened there. But it will continue here, and he gave me a call back, and then we continued the interview.
Talking to Darren this past Saturday, what we were kind of remembering, and he'll have his own story, but this is kind of, when I think of Bruce Swanson, I think of, first of all, I could usually hear him before I could see him.
Yeah.
Just because he was just such a good, and it was always good nature with Bruce. And all of a sudden I would look at him, and there'd be this big smile, and usually, especially the first time of the year, it would be like late April or early May when we would all get together and play doubles. Because I didn't hit with him a whole lot alone. And to be honest, we only played one match, which I'll get into a little bit later. But I would see that bright smile, and I'd shake his hand, and I would see you, because every time I see you, I know Bruce is, right there, and vice versa. You guys were a team, and you were together for, I believe I first remember you guys playing together in 2015. I could be wrong about, had you guys played earlier than that, but 2015 was the first tournament I know I saw you guys playing together. So it had been a long time. And for a partnership to last that long, that's awesome. That speaks volumes of you two, and just how, the camaraderie that you guys had. And I know you're going to have your own stories, and nobody can kind of match that, because nobody was around him like you were, and you were his partner. And it's really different. Like, when you play against somebody, you have stories, but when you play with somebody for so long, you really get to know them well, and you get close. So
yeah, that's so true.
Yeah, absolutely. But I remember his smile, and I remember his tenaciousness, even during warm-ups. He's cracking that forehand, and his backhand was still pretty good. Consistent as his forehand.
Yeah.
Everybody always associated Bruce with his big first serve, especially, and then his forehand. And what was so frustrating about Bruce's forehand was he would rip it like 2-3 inches right over the net. Oftentimes it looked like he was going to catch the tape.
Oh, yeah.
At first it couldn't, and then it would just rip right down the line for winner.
Oh, yeah.
And, that's years of practice. I heard his story, how he, started with a no good in 7th grade. He won his first trophy, and it was really interesting, like, getting to know somebody's backstory. That's kind of the biggest thing I like about your podcast is we get into the backstory of people, and even for those who don't know us, like maybe somebody's stumbling upon YouTube and they see this. I hope that they probably have a similar story as well as to how they started, and I hope that they can kind of think like, oh, hey, that was me, or oh, that sounds a lot like my story.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of why I do this, of giving the background story of how people got started in tennis. The people that I've had in-house, and the people that I've actually done over the phone interviews with too. just looking forward to having that happen with people. And with you YouTubers, and like and subscribe and comment, and you also, you podcasters, like, subscribe, and comment, whatever you like me doing, and how I can better myself with what you want me to do. I would like to do and see what I can do more, and hopefully someday get an over the phone interview with a tennis pro. But who knows? That might happen. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that I do hope that people that stumble across my podcast here does resonate with how they got started in the tennis and everything with that.
Yeah, it's just so, so still. I go to the court now, and it's just like, all I think about is Bruce. I could have been in with them because it's such a nice day out, or something. It's just like, still mind-blowing to me, though, in a sense.
Absolutely.
To actually have that happen. As long as we played together, well, gosh, we played seven years together, almost 8 years.
Yeah, I would say probably a solid 8, because Darren and I had played you in the consolation finals of last summer, which was 2023, and I remember first playing you. I was playing with a guy named Paul then, and we had played you in the summer tournament of 2015, so that's, 8 years.
Yeah, and it's a long time to actually, to have somebody that you kind of knew that was going to get that shot, or his serve was doing good that day, or he was returning good that day, or whatever the case was. But he just a plethora of just different, just an example of one little story that I remember. We were hitting in the mixers there, and what I remember is it was the doubles part, and it was so funny because how good his forehand was.
Oh yeah.
So I'm the one guy on my side. He hits this little kind of loopy little shot just past the service line, and oh my gosh, I saw Bruce's eyes get big, and I went, oh, he's gonna come at me. He's gonna come after me. And so I went, I knew he was. I knew it. I knew he was. And he had this big smile on his face, and I kind of backed up about 2 or 3 steps, and he blasted that forehand at me as hard as he could. And I just kind of like that night, literally, I knew he was going to do it. I was prepared for it, and he hit it, and I went, bam! A perfect, beautiful winning volley right between the two of them, and he just stood there and went, what just happened? I had a winner. No, I didn't have a winner. He got the volley back.
I love it. And that's awesome. And that is a great play for doubles too. Down the middle solves the riddle. So
yeah, oh gosh, yeah.
And for you to do that, that's pretty impressive off of Bruce, loaded up forehand.
Oh gosh, yeah. And I could see his eyes big and smile on his face like, oh, I got him now.
That's awesome. And yeah, I had an exchange like that with Bruce. I think the ball never touched the ground for probably 5 shots in a row, and I ended up getting the better of him. And afterwards I went, yeah, like as loud as I could, and he just started laughing. That was who he was, though. If he ever got angry, I didn't know it.
I didn't either.
He was just kind of stoic, and he was, happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. Well, he didn't show his emotions much at all.
No, not at all. And even in defeat, I heard him, if you go back to the episode where you had him as an in-house guest, he talked about how he choked away the championship. I think he had said, I was thinking about where am I going to put my championship trophy, like where on the mantle,
Yeah.
And he choked it away because I think he was up 7-3 or something like that, and he lost.
Yeah, 7-3.
Sure.
Lost,
in a super tie break, third set super breaker. That's how they work for anybody who doesn't know at Herbertt tournaments, if you split the first two sets, it goes to a 10-point super breaker, and he was up 7-3, so he was 3 points away. And looking back at it now, I really wish he would have won it because unfortunately he didn't have too many tournaments left. But at the same time, he kind of laughed about it, like, "Oh, I choked it away," and just thought it was. And that's great. Like, for me, it would still bother me to this day.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But with Bruce, that's who he was, and like I said, I've said this before. If he was losing, winning, whether the score was dead even, you could never tell if you were just watching him and couldn't see the score.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
his demeanor was always the same, and his attitude was always the same, and his gameplay was always the same.
Yeah.
And I love that attitude, and I love that demeanor. So any player out there, I strive to have that because I do show my emotions, and I need to put those in check.
Oh, I do too. But the most frustrating thing is that I was showing it a lot more with him because he kept beating me the last year and a half. And I was going,
that definitely is frustrating. But you know what? If anything, Bruce was going to make you better.
Oh yeah, definitely make you think, I have to improve more and have to find a better way to hit the ball and all of that.
Absolutely.
Which he started making me do.
Yeah, absolutely. In every aspect of the game, your serve better be better.
Yes.
Your approach shots better be better, or if he has a little bit of daylight, he's ripping it right past you down the line.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, golly. Way too familiar.
Well, I was just going to say, if you have a B or worse performance against Bruce, he probably was going to beat you.
Oh, that's true. That is so true.
You have to play an A game because his strokes are always usually the same and they're always usually consistent.
That's
so
right.
You have to beat Bruce. He's not going to let you just beat him.
No. And it just like, just the many plethora of times that we've played. I mean, over at the Anoka, over by the swimming pool in Anoka, 2 beautiful courts that are resurfaced, and we played like from 10 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, plethora of sets after set after set, and it was just like getting more frustrating as the afternoon went on because he kept getting everything back, and I went, how did he get that shot back? And it was like, oh God, just can I win a set? Yeah, finally won a set, and it was like, I accomplished something today.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it was. Well, so I'll talk about the only time, and I always knew I was going to face off with one of you guys. We've played twice in the tournament, but we've known each other longer.
Yeah.
I only played Bruce one time, and it was at the new Elk River tennis courts, the first year that they had them in the new location they have now.
Yeah.
And I believe that was 2018, I think. And sure enough, I look at the draw, and there's Bruce and I in the first round.
Oh boy.
And I thought, oh, this is fun. I was really excited.
Oh yeah.
And we came out, and we were dead even. I think we had broken each other's serve one time, and then it got to 5-all. And I remember this is the only time I've ever been mad at Bruce. And so here's what happened. I was up, I think it was 40-30, and we were playing no ad.
Yeah.
So I had a game point to go up 6-5.
Oh gosh.
And I hit a serve that as soon as it hit the ground, it looked to be at least three inches back. So I didn't play it.
Yeah.
That's my dumb fault.
Yeah.
Even though I was mad that Bruce didn't call it out because I thought, well, that shot's clearly out. There's no way he's going to play that.
Yeah.
Well, he played it.
Yeah.
And I thought he was kind of, like just hitting it back or joking. All of a sudden I looked up and I saw how serious he was. He was approaching the net. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he thinks that's a live ball.
Oh gosh.
So sure enough, I, mishit my shot and it went out and it went to deuce. And then, but that was the only time. But hey, listen, that's my bad. And the only time I ever got mad at him, it technically wasn't even his fault. So.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But he ended up he took that game and broke me, and then he held, and then he took the first set 7-5, and then we went to a second set, and I took that set 7-5. coach. He runs all the Elk River tournaments. He always says at the beginning of every tournament, if you have one great match, it was worth it.
Oh, yeah.
In the tournament.
And that holds so true with what Randy Ronning says with that. If you have one good match and you keep going, if you win the first one and it was an okay match, and then you have a second one but it was good and you lost, okay, that you had a good match. Or if you had to keep winning and you had the good match there, that's what counts. You just at least have one good match.
One great match, it was worth it, and that was definitely my great match of that tournament, and it was totally worth it.
Oh, absolutely worth it. Any kind of match that you have, and if you end up on the winning end, that's good too.
Oh, that even better. But yeah, I've had some very amazing matches. I one time played a 3.5-hour match and lost, but I still remember to this day how good that match was.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you want to win.
Oh, absolutely. Over the years, I've actually been able to get a trophy, first place. With a match in the summertime, I played once. The guy, I had actually pulled my hamstring and was limping my way through it. He was getting sick on the court because it was so hot, and I wasn't. And he kept trying to psych me out, or you can quit anytime you want. I'm kind of sick. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to quit. And I ended up beating him in a tiebreaker. So
that's awesome. And I've heard that story before, and I actually told Darren that story. I said, "That's how Brian." Is that your only Elk River win so far?
I think it is. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and I didn't mean to demean that. I'm just saying because I have one as well. I just won the Fall Classic. That's my first ever win. So, but it's whoever you were playing clearly didn't know who you were, because unless if your leg falls off, I don't see you defaulting a match.
Not a chance.
Way. Literally, it had to be something, if it was personal or whatever, but he was going to finish that match, and he would play rain or shine. He really, he, for the most part, for some reason, he really would.
Gosh, yeah. Well, you know me too well.
I do. Well, when I see you at, all these tournaments, I think the first one I saw you was at 2008, and the first time I saw Bruce was at 2015, and ever since then, there's very few people that show up as much as we do.
Oh, yeah,
and,
that's true.
Randy would say that too. It's a testament of our love for the game, our love for that specific tournament.
Yeah.
And, like I said, I think are you 67, Brian?
Actually 68.
Wow. See, and I'm 40, and some days I wake up and I'm a little sore in certain areas. And I strive to do what you're doing in 28 years. So.
Yeah. I mean, still playing singles and Saturday singles, and I gotta keep myself young.
Absolutely. And Bruce was still playing, and he was 60, and he didn't look like he was slowing down either.
Oh no.
And like I said, it's very unfortunate, but you guys, not only would you play 3 or 4 matches in a tournament in a day, but you could play all 3 events.
Yeah.
And even after those events, you would hit serves and you would hit with each other. And I looked at Darren, my tennis partner, and I was like, these guys are nuts.
Yeah. We would actually, I would go out and hit serves after, or me and him and afterwards would go out and hit the ball just to keep hitting, and stuff. So
I love it. And, my mind would love to do that, and so would my heart, but sometimes my body's like, no, you need to go home, you need to drink some water and kick your feet back. But
it's true.
But that's the with you and Bruce doing that, that's why you guys played for so long as you did, and your mobility is as good as it is because you don't stop playing.
No, that's true. And I can't stop playing, so.
No. Yes, I agree. But I just wanted to say a couple things too that I remember about Bruce.
Sure.
Is that I would show up to, like I said, I would see his beaming smile, and he could laugh at points even though he lost them, and he would laugh even if he won them. It didn't matter. And I remember he had so many headbands, and he would have them all set out.
Yeah.
I never knew how it did, it came to the conclusion I'm picking the orange one today, or the green one, or whatever. I don't know if he matched it with his outfit or what he did, but he had all these different headbands, and they were all perfectly set out. And, his rackets were placed in a certain area, and he always, he was kind of systematic in that way.
Yeah.
But it worked for him. And, we might have thought, oh, well, that's kind of funny. I wonder why he does that. But it worked for him.
Yeah.
And him being that way is exactly like who I will remember, especially as a tennis player.
Oh, sure.
And like that forehand, I strive to have that. And that was definitely the best shot in his bag. And he would admit to it if he was, still with us today. And,
absolutely.
But I loved it though. His attitude, his smile, his laugh, his demeanor on the court. And he was just a really good, friendly guy.
Yeah.
And the matches that we had, the doubles, the singles, like those are the memories I'm going to take with me for, the rest of my life. And,
sure.
I believe he can hear us today, and I'm sure he's, has that smile and that laugh, and he's loving this podcast in memory of him.
Oh, absolutely. Up there on the tennis court in the sky.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I know he's there, and he's probably already met all the legends that have gone before us. You know him. He would be out there. Putting on his headband and tightening up the laces and going at it.
Absolutely. Well, hey, I so appreciate you having the time to be able to remember Bruce, Rob. I do appreciate it so much, taking your time out of your schedule to do this. It really has helped and given insight of our tennis colleague that we will sorely miss. Even this year's tournament will sorely be missed.
Absolutely, he'll really be missed this tournament, and especially the fall, because it's just so hard. Because and for everybody out there, like, always tell people you love them. Always leave with a handshake or a hug or something, because you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
Yeah.
And Bruce is a perfect example of that. Like you guys said, hey, you're so used to just picking up the phone, texting him, saying, let's meet at the Anoka courts by the swimming pool, and we'll hit at 2:00, and and then he's there. Like, I just saw him at the fall classic, River, and like I said, I want to tell this too. The last thing that Bruce ever said to me was, he saw me at the tournament. He goes, "Hey, Rob," and I said, "Hey, Bruce," and I shook his hand. And Andy MacArthur, who you played with, he was there, and he was standing right next to Bruce, and he said, "Rob is a formidable opponent." And that was Bruce's verbiage for sure. He always used words like that. And he said, "Rob is formidable," and he was, very positive about that. And
Bruce was that very way. Just the way he said things like that, and he would put everybody in a good light in the way he talked about them. And like Rob, very formidable opponent. Which I hope I will have a win over this year, hopefully. So we'll have to see.
I think he would ever, if he ever said any bad things about people, I never heard it. He was always a positive guy. And for him to say that about me, I really appreciated that. I respected the hell out of that. And I will take that with me forever. And he will definitely be missed at every tournament. And it will be sad to look over and not see his headband and his forehand, together, just cracking those and, out on the court. And that smile.
Yeah, that's true. And so, I hope this year that I will kind of get a little bit of magic and kind of dedicate my play for Bruce this year at the tournament.
Absolutely. I'm sure you will.
Yeah. Well, thank you again so much, Rob. And we'll have to get together and start hitting a little bit since it's starting to get nice out. So you let me know whenever and we'll get out.
Absolutely. I promise you I will. And Darren definitely wants to sit with you too. And we'll try to even, whether we do singles, which of course we can do, and doubles, we'll find a partner and we'll go at it.
Okay. Sounds very good.
All right. Well, you take care, Brian. And continue to do what you do with the podcast, because I love it and I love tuning in and listening. So you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it very much.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Well,
that was the first interview. And I will go into one more and another one from another Rob's doubles partner, Darren Hilly, have him talk a little bit about Bruce also, and I gave him a call, and this is going to be the next one that you'll hear a little bit of, and then I'll, cut that probably somewhere in the middle of it there, and then do Racket of the Day, and then next week I'll finish up with these interviews. So with this, here is Darren's interview with me.
One interview and remembering Bruce, and I have a few more that I will be getting to. Well, thank you for coming back with Tennis Volley Talk with Brian Danielson. Episode 62, 64 actually, my gosh. Anyway, today what I'm on the phone here again with one of my people that I play tennis with. I've been playing tennis with for quite a few years. Have played doubles with him, and Darren Hilly, and I wish that there was a little bit more of a better circumstances to come on the phone here, but we lost one of tennis elites out there today, a few weeks ago. So thank you for joining me on Tennis Volley Talk, Darren.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brian. I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's
glad to be here.
Yeah, you're nice and welcome to be. But what a surprise for everybody out there in our tennis community of what happened, and suddenly as it did with Bruce.
Yeah, love Bruce Swanson. Really good guy. I imagined I had dozens of more matches with him. I always enjoyed playing Bruce. He was a lot of fun. We had great conversations before the match, during the match, and after the match. Yeah, he was a great guy. He called all the shots there, and I finally, when I met him, I found someone that loved tennis more than myself. So that was fun to see.
Yeah, with that too, to be able to actually have him, and the way he played, because he kind of exponentially got better as the years went by.
Yes, Bruce's game had developed, and sometimes you didn't know which Bruce you were going to play that day, but if Bruce was on, you knew you were in some trouble. I had lost to him several times. I'd also beat him several times, but it was always fun to play him because he was very aggressive and he loved to win, and if his game was on, he was a tough person to beat, for sure.
Absolutely, for sure. With that, to be able to, to have the game that you have, because I remember playing with him, like through the years, before he even got started back, he got into the tennis league I was in, and then he ended up getting into then the aspect of getting the tennis blood back in him, and then he started playing, and he was playing all the time then.
Yeah, I know Bruce to play several matches in a day. I mean, he was very fit, and he loved to play several matches at a time. So yeah, he was a real go-getter.
Absolutely, he was.
Yeah, with this, the microphone for some reason kind of cut out. That's why you're hearing me. That I'm putting it up close to the microphone so you can at least hear my questions. And then when you hear Darren, him responding, but it's through the phone, so that's why it's louder. So gonna have to bear with me a little bit on that. Yeah, it still went a very good interview with Darren too. So kind of have to bear with me a little bit on that one. Yeah, but we'll get through it.
And then, with some of the stories that they had, and you and Rob and me and Bruce playing doubles together, before the season started, had to get our doubles in before the tournament that we went
so looking forward to showing him I have gotten some better strokes and worked on my game to try to better him, because he had been having a couple year and a half being frustrated because he had been beating me all the time.
Yeah, he could do that to anybody. He could have a good run, and he could put up several wins. And yeah, I can't imagine an Elk River tournament without a Bruce Swanson. He was there for doubles, singles, and it'll be different not having him there. So yeah.
Yeah, it will be so different not having him there.
I feel fortunate that I met his brother at work, and he introduced me to Bruce, and I played Brian Swanson, his younger brother, a few times, and he told me, hey, you should really meet my brother. He's a little bit better than I am, and I think you guys would have a good match. And eventually, me and Bruce met out at a park, and I think maybe you were there that day, Brian. The first day I met Bruce, I think I met you also at a park there, maybe in Anoka. So yeah, then we played for several years now and had a lot of great matches. So.
It's so good because he's such a spur of the moment kind of guy to be able to,
Yep.
to have that to be able to play him anytime, text him, hey, it's going to be nice, let's get out and go, and he did.
Oh yeah, he'd play on short notice for sure.
Plus playing the singles that I did with him all the time. Me and him at one time, one summer day, it was 95 out. Me and him were the only ones on the tennis court at our age. And we were playing singles. Whether we were doing it.
Yeah, Bruce played about 15 years younger than he was, so he just, super fit. Same with you, Brian. You could always play much more than I could, and you're in much better shape than me, but you guys could play for days.
Yeah. We just have a plethora of good matches that we did, with that. So.
But for sure, I'm glad I met Bruce. I got to enjoy all the matches that I did, and again, I really always enjoyed talking with him before, during, and after. He always really cared about you as a person, and he'd ask questions about how are you feeling, how you doing, and he'd actually listen to you, so great guy.
Well, with that, this little bit of the interview that I had here with Darren, something kind of went wrong with the microphone, or the microphone, and I don't know, it was with this, it kind of faded out on me, and a lot of this interview with Darren kind of got lost, but he was giving, and I'm just going to kind of preface it, and I'm sorry about that, Darren. with this. I wish that it would have come out a little bit, but I don't know what happened. So as far as that goes, yeah, I mean, you were actually, I was actually telling you a little bit about the stories of, with Bruce and me and him playing the one time at the mixers. And then I was telling you about the shot that I hit the volley against him. And then you also were giving him praises as far as his personality and his demeanor and how good of a person he was all the way around. And those are, and what I've got with the interview that you can hear you talking and giving the praise with Bruce and remembering Bruce for the great person that he was. And then I do apologize for that. So with that, what I'm going to do is get with the racket of the day today. And then I'll get over to the other interview that I had. And I do apologize again, Darren, for the hiccup with the microphone. So I do appreciate the good words that you gave him. You podcasters, you want to take a look at the racket of the day, take a look at it on my YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, and you like, subscribe, and comment. Now, you YouTubers, if you like, subscribe, like, make a comment on what you like. Now, this actually here is actually a Wilson racket, as it says Wilson here. And it's another green racket is what it is. It's called the Olympic racket is what it is. So it's, I would probably, and it's another green, but it's probably in around about the 1950s, in the late 40s to 50s is when this racket was being done. Now with the Olympic, it's not like the Jack Kramer or anything of that nature for this, but with that, it's kind of the little lower end of the racket manufacturer of their brand that they had. And I'm sure they had other little brand names that they had, but this happened to be the Wilson Olympic racket. And just like the green color, I'm kind of staying with the green color the last few episodes. And very good racket still. Doesn't have the grip on it, but I'm sure it had the little leather grip that came with it back in the day. And it was made in the USA, of course, through Wilson. Actually, 1914 is when Wilson was founded out of Chicago, Illinois, with Wilson. And so, nice racket and very sturdy racket, very nice racket. And this actually has this is probably nylon racket. And so with that, like I said, late 40s to all the way through into probably 60 or late 50s, maybe 60. But that's about the latest this was around. But I like the design of it here with the way it looks and the Olympic and everything like that. So very good racket all the way around. So like I said, you podcasters, if you want to take a look at it, go to my tennis channel, YouTube channel, Tennis Volley Talk, comment, like, subscribe, and then you YouTubers, you're seeing it already here. So, let me know, comment, like, and subscribe. And with that, again, I do so apologize for the hiccup with the microphone there, Darren. But what words we got from you are profound. Just know that. And then next week I'll do episode 2. And this ran a little bit long, but I hope you don't mind that and you enjoyed this commemoration episode to Bruce, our tennis colleague that is gone way too soon. So you guys get out there. It's starting to get nice out in this area. And if you play outside still, get out there this week. And I'll get out there this week, and we'll see what we can do. And keep on playing tennis. And thank you again for listening to the podcast Tennis Volley Talk.